Daniel. Keep working here with the top half guard positions. Nice to see you everyone. Moving the head sideways. Up and down. Circling the head, everyone. Both sides. Arm. The other arm. Hips. Okay, everyone. And drop on the floor. Keep bridging. 10 times inside. And hip escaping. 10 times inside, everyone. Third position and back stepping 10 times inside. Pay attention to keep the hips above the floor. Okay, hips low but above the floor. Hands and feet on the floor. We're just gonna push the leg through, rotate over the foot that we have on the floor. Push the leg through on the other side. Just switching sides, one side, the other side, so we can get a really good hip mobility. Alright, 10 times inside, everyone. And rolling over the shoulder, backwards, forward. Okay? 5 times inside, everyone. Landing on the knees, landing on the hips. Just make sure that you guys get a really good control with your hips. Alright? Let's move to the partner dress, people. Okay, people, gonna continue with this exercise, very important. Dania has the underhook. We're just gonna be fighting for the underhook. So cannot beat her here. So push the head away, elbow in. I get my underhook. I push her shoulder on the floor with my upper body. Move my hip towards the hip so I can flatten Dania on the floor. She's gonna get the underhook back. And we do the same thing. Push the head, elbow in, have the underhook. First I push her shoulder, then I move my hips towards the hip, get the position, she gets the underhook, and we're just gonna be working with each other, get the position, smash her here, get the control. 1.5 minutes on one side, 1.5 minutes on the other side. We started with this last week, so if you guys require more details, just check out the first video we talked about the top half guard position. And then you guys switch. Horizontal bottom, get on top, same thing, 1.5 minutes on the other side, on one side, and 1.5 minutes on the other side. All right, let's move forward, people. Okay, everyone, we're going to do another drill. Now I'm gonna work around with my partner's underhook. So what I'm going to do right now is, let's say that I couldn't get rid of her underhook, it's too tight. I'm going to keep this hand on the floor. I'm going to grab her head, and from here, people, I'm going to backstep. Okay? Once I backstep, people, what is important for me is that I keep my hip above the floor. You guys can see that I'm on my toes, my shoulder on my partner's face, and the hand that I have free, I'm just going to either control her leg or her pants. Alright? Now that I'm here, my hip doesn't touch the floor. I'm just going to move my hip back until I can free my knee. And I'm gonna place my knee here on the floor in front of her hip. Okay, so my knee was here. I push the knee out and I bring the knee on the floor. I'm gonna push her leg down. I'm gonna bring the leg over and I'm gonna have this quarter mount position. Okay, for the sake of the exercise, I'm gonna let Dania push my leg. She's gonna trap. She's gonna put the underhook back. And we're going to do the same. All right, hand on the floor. Couldn't get rid of the underhook, so I'm gonna work around with the underhook. So I grab the head, back step. My hip doesn't touch the floor. I control the top leg here. Free my knee in front of the hip. I'm gonna keep pushing her knee down, step over until I have the quarter mount position. All right, we're going to be doing this 2 minutes on one side, and then we switch and do 2 minutes on the other side. Same thing, people. Daniel has the underhook, so I'm gonna grab the head, I'm gonna back step, hip stay above the floor, shoulder heavy on her face, control the pants. I'm going to free my knee, place my knee on the floor, push her knee down, bring my leg over, and I have the quarter mount position. All right, people, we don't have to be fast, just follow the steps. 2 minutes on one side, 2 minutes on the other side, and then you guys switch. Rubs on the bottom and on top. After we are okay with this and we can start speeding up, but for the moment, I just want you guys to get the steps. Pay attention, people. Your hip never touches the floor, okay? If your hip drops, your pressure is gone. I'm gonna work with more details when I actually show a position with this, but for the moment, just want you guys to get this mobility going on. Okay, just this back and forth. Let's see today's position going. All right, everyone. Now I'm gonna work with a pass. It's actually one of my favorite passes. And for this one, I'm also gonna require the underhook. I don't actually require to have an underhook. I just need my opponent not to have her or his underhook. So situation that I'm here, I'm just gonna keep the squeezer here so that it cannot simply go towards my back, all right? I'm gonna push her head away. I'm gonna bring my underhook here, and I'm gonna have this position that we were working the entire week, but this time I'm not playing with this underhook. What I'm going to do actually is I'm going to cross this arm here under her armpit. So the arm that I have free that I'm not using to get the underhook, I'm gonna switch, okay? So I'm gonna bring my elbow under the armpit and I'm gonna turn my hip entirely here towards my opponent, okay? So this time I'm gonna have my body cross my opponent. Let's turn a little bit. Okay, with my knee under the hip, the other one is being trapped, and I want to have this position. What is important for me right now, people? Even though I'm heavy, again, my hip is not touching the floor. Let's turn a little bit, Daniel. You guys can see that there is a bit of space here under my hip, and I want to keep myself like this because if I sit, I lose pressure. My opponent can start coming up. And I want to make sure that my hip is a little bit above the floor so I can keep my opponent trapped. Okay, so what is uncomfortable for me is that a lot of the times my opponent is going to be trapping my knee. Okay, so elevate your guard. Exactly. So this situation happens a lot of the time. So first thing that I want to do is to get rid of this control. I want to free my knee. So with the hand that I have free, I can either push or make a grip on the pants, okay? Just because it's more comfortable for me, I wanna push her knee. Now that I'm pushing her knee, at the same time that I'm pushing her knee down, I'm gonna hip escape a little bit until my knee is free, okay? And now this is the detail that I wanna work with you guys. Once I have this position, this knee that I have on the floor, I'm going to actually place here in front of her hip. Can you please walk around just a little bit here, Lucas? Okay, you guys can see that I brought the knee that was here under the hip, I set, and I bring now my knee in front of her hip. And you might ask, Felipe, but you told us not to sit. Yes, because your opponent could use the control of the leg to come up. As long as I have my knee in front of her hip, I'm controlling her hip so then it can no longer come up. And here I'm also controlling her chest, so then it's pretty much controlled at this point. So I'm gonna stay tight here, and from here, people, I'm just gonna keep using my knee, pushing the leg until I can free my foot. From here, people, I have two ways to go, okay? I can simply go to the side control, or what I like most is to keep this leg controlled, and as soon as I free my foot, I already bring this foot under her hip, so I go straight to the mount, and I can work from here. Okay? One thing that is important for you guys here is as soon as you go to this position, everyone, make sure that your body is as high as possible. All right, I'm gonna start without the underhook this time. So I'm here with Danya. Let's say that we're fighting for the underhook. I cross my elbow next to the hip and I turn my hip. If I stay here on Danya's hip, she can bring herself up and start pushing me, okay? Come on, exactly. And this is a problem. So as soon as you guys cross your body over your opponent's body, bring your entire upper body over your opponent's chest, okay? From here, everyone, I wanna keep my hip a little bit above the floor. I'm gonna start pushing her knee down and bringing my hip away so I can free my knee, okay? Now that my knee is free, I'm gonna place the knee that I have on the floor in front of her hip. I'm gonna be blocking her hip right now, and now I can sit, okay? Then I can no longer bring herself up. So from here, people, I'm gonna keep my position. I can keep pushing her leg, and now I'm gonna work to free my foot. Two ways, either I switch and go to the side control, or I keep this control right now. I step over, pinching my knees together, so I can already do a good transition to the mount and work from here. Personally, I prefer to go straight to the mount because it gives me already a better position for me to work. I prefer to attack from the mount than side control. So, but if you guys want to switch, if you guys want to transit to the side control, it's also a really good option. I can show you another option that might be interesting. Let's work again. So I'm here with Danya. I cross my body, turn my hip. So push her knee down, push my hip away, my knee in front of her hip. As I free my foot and I go to the side control, I can already use my elbow to trap her arm under the armpit and have this control that we worked already before also when we talked about side control in November or December, I guess. It's already a really good position for you guys to attack. You can even get a submission right now. So sorry Daniel, just another option that you guys can use. Okay. Again, people, no need to be fast with this one. Just make sure that you follow the steps correctly and you guys are gonna see yourself in a safe scenario. Make sure, people, that when you're over your opponent, when you're here in this position, that your hip is not all the way down, okay? But not all the way up as well, right? Try to find, like, you can even ask your partner to see if the space between the hip and the floor is enough to bring one hand in between. Okay, if you guys have one hand space, that should be enough, okay? You guys have enough pressure and enough stability to use this pass, all right? Let's try a little bit, people. All right, everyone, so we're gonna start here, specific training. 3 minutes, I'm trying to pass. 3 minutes, then is trying to sweep. We're gonna be working for the control. Then you got the control first. I'm gonna try to get 9. And we're just gonna be trying to reach our goals. If we reach our goals, back from the beginning, just switching sides so you guys can practice both and try to equalize it a little bit. Okay, 3 minutes, one of you on top. Then you guys switch. Whoever was on the bottom now gets on top. And you guys can practice both aspects. Add some extra rows, as many as you want, right guys, and we can start sweating a little bit. Hope you guys have a good time, stay safe, see you guys soon, bye bye.